Church here, and welcome to the Game Grinder. And today I'm doing a video response to a video I was tagged in. It's top 5 nostalgic games, and I was tagged by the Power Metal Gamer. If you're not familiar with this channel, definitely check it out. Really funny guy, really cool guy. Lots of great videos, and of course I'll put the link in the description. So, yeah, I've kind of been battling with this since I was tagged. I was like, yeah, cool, I'll participate in this one. And yeah, I just couldn't come up with 5 games. Like, there's so many games, and I feel like by only doing 5, I'm, you know, excluding great memories. But, you know, I'm going to stick with the top 5. Well, these aren't necessarily top 5, so these are just 5. That's what I had to end up doing, is just pick 5 games that I thought were quite nostalgic, and I'm pretty happy with the things I picked. I've gone a little out of the ordinary with this one, as not all of these games are super old or from my childhood, but, you know, I don't think that really matters. It's, you know, nostalgia is nostalgia, any way you put it. So, without further ado then, let's check out the first games that I picked here. So this is going to be the Diablo series. So, yeah, as you know, if you don't know, I absolutely love the Diablo series. And I've been playing them from the beginning. They've always been very social games for me. I've always played them with friends. Lots and lots of great times had. The first Diablo, I had a friend who, at the time, I didn't have a PC, and he had a PC, and he happened to have Diablo. He had, like, Warcraft, and he had Dark Forces, and X-Wing, and TIE Fighter, and just all these great PC games. And basically, I used to bring over my Super Nintendo, and then when I had my PlayStation, I'd bring over my PlayStation, and he would play the consoles, and I'd play his PC games. And yeah, just a lot of great times. Diablo 1 is just a fantastic game. At the time, we thought it was really cool that you could download a tool and basically make your own items, which was basically just like some mod hacking tool. And we came up with all these cool names for gear and stuff, and it was just ridiculous. But fantastic game. And Diablo 2, I mean, wow, Diablo 2 is like one of the best games ever made, and I played that for years with a few of my good friends. I mean, we mastered that game. It was to the point where I was just collecting all the set and unique items in the game. But I had, like, if I remember correctly, I believe it was 6 accounts, and each account had 8 characters or 6 characters. You know, it's been a long time since I logged in. But basically, I had all these accounts, and they were things called mules, which were basically, you just make an account, make a character, dump a bunch of gear for them to hold because you had limited gear space. And I was pretty much trying to collect every set and unique item in the game, and I was somewhere about 75%. I had printed out checklists, and, you know, I was just missing like a lot of the like high top tier items. And yeah, just great game. And then of course Diablo 3, which I think if you haven't played Diablo 3, or if you've only played Diablo 3 before the Reaper of Souls expansion, so Diablo 3 with Reaper of Souls is what Diablo 3 should have been to begin with. You know, there was some road bumps there, but awesome game. Played it a ton. Played it with my friends. We had great times, especially when the game was first released, when, you know, in many ways it was kind of broken, and it was just overly difficult, and we struggled, and we got our butts kicked all the time, and, you know, we'd rage out at each other and laugh at each other, and it was just, you know, great times. And, you know, I have some friends that are still playing it. I play it on and off. And just, you know, tons of memories. A lot of time put into these games. So then the next game, keeping with the social theme here, I'm going with Left 4 Dead, and Left 4 Dead 2 included. I don't have Left 4 Dead 2 physical copy, but yeah, these are just wonderful games. I love Left 4 Dead. Like, it's one of my favorite games of all time. You know, could be up there for the #1 spot as far as I'm concerned. But then again, I played with friends, and we played for hundreds of hours. When the Left 4 Dead 1 demo came out, we probably put like 30 hours, hell, it might have even been up to 60 hours into a demo of like a map and a half of a 5-map campaign. Like, we played the crap out of those games. Then when they finally released Left 4 Dead, I mean, we hit those campaigns, like, and it was great because nobody knew the tricks. Like, nobody knew all the secrets and the shortcuts in the game, so we kind of had to figure this out, and it was a really, really great experience. And we played through all the campaigns on expert from the get-go, you know, as we always said, no bullshit with the game. And then we jumped into the multiplayer versus mode, and we just dominated. I mean, we get our asses kicked once in a while, but we played the crap out of versus, and it was a lot of fun. Started messing around in some of like the custom games when people started modding stuff for the original Left 4 Dead, and then Left 4 Dead 2. Like, probably put just as much time in Left 4 Dead 2 as we did Left 4 Dead 1. Some of my friends still play it on and off. I've been thinking about going back and playing it again through the campaigns, like getting some friends and maybe even like recording it or something, just because they're a blast, and it's been a long time since I played. And yeah, just again, tons and tons of great memories. So then also with friends and memories, I'm going with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Don't have the case manual anymore, but I still have my original copy of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And this is a game that, again, like my friends and I, we get together and we just play this for hours and hours, and we played it for months and months and months. Like, we mastered this game. I can't remember the specific details, but there's something about the warehouse level with Bob Burnquist and doing like the most insane, like, high score trick like you could possibly do in the game, as far as we knew at the time, without using, you know, auto balance or something like that. It was something like doing a super move through like the glass room above the half pipe and stuff, and grinding around, and it was just wild. And when we accomplished that, like, it was a feat to behold. But yeah, we played tons of this. We made a lot of custom maps or custom courses, and yeah, just a really great time. And at the time, like, everybody was playing Tony Hawk, so, you know, it was the thing to do. But again, a lot of fun. So then jumping back to probably when you ask me what my most nostalgic game was, this is going to be Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link for the NES. This is one of my all-time favorite games on the system. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but, you know, whatever. But yeah, so this is a game that, you know, one of the earlier games that I had gotten, I believe. And what was really cool was, at the time, my dad was also checking out Nintendo games and playing stuff like Xenophobe and Tecmo Bowl and Link and Mario and Golf, and he saw this game, and, you know, he must have thought it looked cool, and at the time it was kind of funny because with some more challenging games, like my dad would actually have some friends over and they would play Nintendo games, and when they would get to these hard parts, you know, they'd call me into the room. You know, here's me, like 6, 7, 8 years old, you know, beating the games or getting past the points for them. But what was really cool about this game is, of course, with Zelda 2, the big difference is you can basically level up Link and increase his health, increase his magic, and I didn't have a lot of time to do that, or at least it wasn't anything that was super interesting to me at the time. I can't remember specifically why, but basically, so I would play through the game, progress, beat castles, you know, get through caves and whatnot, and then when I would go to school, my dad would actually grind, basically. He would, you know, do the random encounters with Link to get experience points so you could level up stuff, and by the time we got to the end of the game, like, it just dominated because, you know, was super leveled up and everything thanks to my dad. And it was really cool too because, we, you know, basically we play it together when I would progress and stuff. And the final level, I remember, it's kind of like a maze, and, you know, we couldn't figure things out, so we actually started drawing a map and stuff, helping us get through, and eventually we got through and beat Shadow Link, or Dark Link, or whatever the hell you want to call them. And yeah, that's just one of those games that's always kind of stuck with me. And, you know, I know my dad's watching, so, you know, thank you for nurturing my love of gaming and participating, and, you know, it's a particularly fond memory of mine. So yeah, and it's kind of cool that, you know, throughout the years, my dad's kind of getting into some JRPGs and stuff. Like he likes the grinding, not so much like games that you have to do a lot of jumping or platforming or like really challenging games. But he likes building characters and working towards goals and stuff, which is really cool. He played some great stuff over the years. He played Chrono Trigger, he played Final Fantasies, he played Xenogears and all these RPGs. But yeah, and fantastic game regardless of what anybody says. Tied with #1 as far as my favorite games on the NES goes. Well, last but not least here is going to be my final pick for this video. These are particularly special games to me, as I still to this day consider these to be the best gaming experience I ever had, and unfortunately there'll never be an experience like this again because developers just aren't willing to do that sort of thing anymore. It seems like, sure, there is some elements of this that carries on, but just not to this capacity. And they'd much rather nickel and dime us for every little bit of content that we get. So but without further ado, this is Neverwinter Nights, and these are the expansions, Shadows of Undertide and Hordes of the Underdark, and this is the 2002 version of Neverwinter Nights by BioWare, and this was like one of their huge games. Basically, without Neverwinter Nights, there wouldn't be Dragon Age, because this same team moved on to working on Dragon Age, and a lot of the concepts from this were carried on into that. And it was actually kind of cool because I got to see the development of Dragon Age like way back when it was happening. Initially, when Dragon Age was going to be this game with these massive battles where you handled armies of like hundreds to thousands of characters and stuff, and kind of seeing how things changed up until Dragon Age was released was pretty cool, and I'm not complaining because I absolutely love the Dragon Age series. Great games. But anyways, so Neverwinter Nights is a isometric RPG, kind of on the lanes, kind of in the vein of games like Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, even stuff like Diablo. And what was cool about the game is it had this fantastic single-player game. The setting was one big lure to me at the time, and it's based in actually the Dungeons & Dragons universe of Forgotten Realms, and they took a specific region, and the story took place there. And it was a pretty cool story, and the gameplay was great, and I had a lot of fun, but I didn't know. So, of course, at this time, one of my first computers that I bought was so I could play this game, and, internet was just becoming a thing. I had AOL at the time, and I was like, hey, I'm going to check out the online to this game, kind of not really knowing anything about it. And, wow, my mind was absolutely blown. So basically, the really cool thing about Neverwinter Nights is it included this thing called the Aurora toolset, which was basically a tool set allowing you to build the game. Like, you could make environments, you could make characters, you could make scripted events. A lot of it was really basic and really accessible. And basically what people did was people made their own games, and they would host them online. Of course, they had their own servers and whatnot, but basically Atari had it set up so you could play all these custom games. And what people did with these games was really interesting. So of course you get into things where you just like hack and slash and stuff like Diablo, or PvP games where you get to like try to like build up your character however you want, and then you fight against other people. But for me, like, the thing that I didn't expect and I spent years playing was the persistent online heavy role-playing servers. So basically what these were, and the ones I played anyways, were somebody had sat down and was like, hey, this is a great setting, I love D&D, the rule set was there, and basically what some of the servers I played on is they picked regions in Faerun, which is the land in the Forgotten setting, and basically they would make those areas. And what was really cool is that with this tool set and the online functionality, there was actually ways for people to play as the Dungeon Master or the DM. Basically, they were an invisible entity that could manipulate the game on the fly while people were playing, so that made for really cool like quest events and story events, and basically it was a living, breathing world. And it sounds really nerdy, but like I said, the servers I played on were heavy role-playing, usually enforced, which means when you joined up the game, you need to have a backstory for your character, you need to have, like, descriptions for when people viewed your character, you know, you describe them, you're always in character, so you're actually role-playing the character. You know, that went from, you know, very minor levels of, you know, people, like, being in, like, people having these full-on, like, you know, even in text-based forms, like, accents and, you know, quips and all this stuff. And yeah, it was just an amazing experience. It's basically what Dungeons and Dragons in video game form would be like in the capacity of the tabletop game, where basically your imagination's the limit, and the people I met and the stories that were forged and told, and these epic sagas unfolded all the time, and communities moving from one server as, you know, things kind of died out, and, you know, the admins might have not been doing as good job, and we moved to a new server where somebody would build this amazing world. And this happened a few different times. I played on a few different servers. The ones that come to mind are things like the Magic Bubble, there's Winter Haven, Xanderbracken, World of Palladium, and Haze. And Haze was the most hardcore one. That one you actually had to fill out an application on the server's forums, why they should allow you on the server, talk about your character, you know, all this kind of stuff. And it was, I mean, it made for really, really amazing experiences, like kind of the ultimate interactive video game if you think about it. But yeah, like I said, I played these games for years. I actually, a lot of times when, you know, some of the online gamers talk about previous experiences with multiplayer games and whatnot, there's kind of that one game that enveloped their life, and this was definitely that game. Like, I neglected everything. Like, I was calling in sick to work, I was spending time with my girlfriend, I wasn't hanging out with my friends, I wasn't seeing my family, I was playing this game just for hours and hours and hours on end. I think the longest stretch I ever did was like 36 hours or something, but just because it was such an immersive, like, amazing experience, like, I didn't want to miss out. And a lot of the communities that I stuck with were very passionate about what we were doing, and it just made for some amazing experiences. Like I said, I want to kind of come up with more of a formulaic video, maybe talking about these games to more extent, maybe showing off some of the things. And who knows, there might still be some online persistent world servers, which would be really cool. I know every once in a while, like online, in some way or shape or form, someone messages me on one of my, you know, old IMs or something, and I reconnect with one of these people like once in a great while. It's been a few years since the last time it happened, but it was an experience like none other. And for anybody else who might have played Neverwinter Nights online in these capacities, like, I would love to know if you were able to do that, and, you know, what servers you played on, because there's a good chance I knew about a lot of them, because, you know, it was a very special community. And yeah, just such a wonderful experience. And I'll always look forward to another one like this in the future. But like I said, I don't think it'll ever happen to this capacity, especially now, you know, the internet, what it was in 2002 and what the internet is now. Like, you just can't have nice things, basically, is how the phrase goes, because of assholes and trolls and whatnot. But it'd be really cool if something ever like this happens again. And I know there's modding tools out there, and I know, like, Gary's mod is kind of like a big thing, sort of in the vein of this, with, like, the role-playing, like, build your own servers and stuff. But it was great. And yeah, and to top it all off, to get really immersive in my characters and have these interesting backstories and history. Like, I actually even went to the extent of purchasing the Forgotten Realms campaign setting book, which basically this is an official Dungeons & Dragons book meant to be used with Dungeons & Dragons, the tabletop pen and paper game, and covers everything from the different regions, the races, the religions, the factions, the monsters, like, everything in Farron is in this book. And even some of my friends, like, we would, you know, pick these up and we read these, and we would make very interesting characters. And if I could really just explain in a more effective manner other than kind of jumping around with my rambling that I normally do. Like, I will do that because these are great games, and I really want to try to connect with other people who might have played these, and even go back and check them out. Like, just play the single player. I mean, it's a really cool game. It's kind of like early Dragon Age, late Baldur's Gate sort of thing, like I said. But anyways, yeah, so these are 5 of the games that I picked for my top 5 nostalgic games. Again, thank you to Power Metal Gamer, and actually I am going to tag a few people, and hopefully they will make a video like this as well. I'm not going to do 5, I'm actually going to do a little bit more just because I don't know who is tagged, and who knows, the more participation, the more fun this can be. So in no particular order then, I'm going to tag Sir Flynn1, who is the co-host on my podcast, and he has his own YouTube channel as well. And unfortunately he had to restart his channel, so not a lot of content right now, but I know he is working on things as we speak. The next person I'm going to tag is going to be Musty Hobbit, and he has his own great channel, kind of chronicling some of his collection goals and going over some pickup videos and things like that. And he's also my neighbor in Iowa, and I'm in Minnesota, of course. So then the next person is going to be PK's Retro Reviews, and he has a pretty great channel, has a lot of great thought-provoking videos, does some pickup videos and unboxing videos and things like that. And of course, links will be in the description. The next person I'm going to tag doesn't normally do like vlog kind of videos, but who knows, maybe this will be the one, and it'd be interesting to see what he has to say anyways. But that's going to be KWKBox. He does a lot of great kind of like Let's Play videos and looks at some games with a friend of his, and of course links will be in the description. Next person I'm going to tag is going to be The Isolated Gamers. He has a great channel, covers a lot of great games. I've learned a lot about titles that I've never played, a lot on Game Boy Advance and things like that. So the next person is going to be Corpse Flood Gaming, which is a new channel that I've been following. He does some unboxings of like the video game monthly boxes with his daughter, and I find them very entertaining and very cool to see kind of what things you can get with those. And of course, links will be in the description, so I encourage you to check out his channel. I would also like to tag Nintendo, another great channel, does a lot of great pickups. He has a pretty cool method of filling a shelf as he does pickups and then integrating that into his collection. And he's started doing some game reviews, so I definitely encourage you to check those out. And of course, the links will be in the description. And then I'm going to tag my good friend Artificalraven. I know he does not do any sort of vlog videos. He usually does gameplay videos and game endings and stuff like that. But hey, who knows? Maybe he'll be interested. So definitely encourage you to try something different, Artificalraven. And of course, links will be in the description. And then last but not least, I'm going to tag Torture Vision, who does a lot of kind of like long play videos with a friend. He talks about games, kind of does game reviews while showing a lot of the game footage. So yeah, so those are going to be the people I'm tagging. Of course, like I said, links will be in the description. And for those who are going to participate, as I said, talk about your top 5 nostalgic games, tag 5 other people, and for anybody else who I might have not tagged and you are interested in participating, definitely, by all means, please make a top 5 nostalgic games and, shoot me a link, because I'd be interested to see what you got. And if any of you guys have already been tagged, I apologize. I haven't been watching everybody's response videos, but I've been watching as many as I can. So please, if you have the time or the opportunity or want to talk about 5 of your nostalgic games, I would really appreciate it. So I think that will about do it for this video. Hopefully it was on point as much as I could make it. I know I get a little rambly, especially, just reminiscing about memories and whatnot, and hopefully this didn't go too long. But of course, as always, I'd love to know your thoughts on any of these games, if any of you share particularly fond memories for these, or even just your thoughts on the games themselves. And then with that said, of course, you can hit me up on Facebook, on Twitter, links are in the description. Check out the Game Tenants podcast, which actually we had a guest of Southern Star Gamer on our last episode, so definitely check it out. It was a great time. And then it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyways. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time on the Game Grinder.